Okay, hello everyone. Today we're going to do a tutorial on Jamboard. And Jamboard's like the new school whiteboard or the new school blackboard. Um, we're going to go through about 20 different tasks here. Okay, we'll start with number 1. How do you get to Google Jamboard? And then we're going to work our way down. And it's pretty easy. I should be able to get through this pretty quick. And then we'll talk a little bit about Jamboard versus Canvas. I'll show you a little bit about Canvas. So let's get to it. We're going to start with how do you get to Google Jamboard or create a Google Jamboard. And the best way to get to anything, and I always say this here, the best way to get to anything is by Google Drive. So if you're in Google Drive, you can get to your forms, your files a lot by creating new. But you could also use this little thing right here. It's called the Google Apps icon, and if you see it right here, you can click this little thing, and if you scroll down, you should find Jamboard right here. So I can click on this and it'll take me right to Jamboard. You could also grab this thing and move it around. Pretty cool. So you could grab the Jamboard and move it if you want, whatever. So this is how you get to Jamboard, right? You can get to it here by the Google Apps icon. Click here. Okay. Another way to get to the Jamboard is you can go to New. Again, I'm in Drive. Drive is like your home base. You can go to More, and you can go right down here, and you could click here, and it'll take you to Google Jamboard. And I'm going to click Google Jamboard right here. So now it's taking me to Google Jamboard, and we'll take a look at the setup. And like I said, it's pretty simple here. It's not too bad. So here I am in a brand new Jam, okay? And this here is your whiteboard. And if you just go back and click on this little thing, it'll take you to Jamboard Home, okay? So if you ever want to get to Jamboard Home, you're just going to press that little thing right there. That little icon right there, and this is what the Jamboard Home looks like. And these are some previous quote jams, as they call it, and a lot of it is math, as you can see. Now let's go back. So we took care of one. We took care of how to get to Google Jamboard, right? So now let's create and save a jam. So here I am. I'm in my home. Okay, I'm in my Jamboard Home, and if I want to create a new jam, okay, I can just go to plus Jamboard. I'm just going to go to this little plus right here where it says new jam. Click that, and it's opening up. Now, whenever you create any file, whether it be a Google Doc, slides, presentation, whatever, the first thing you want to do is always title that file. Otherwise, you wind up with a bunch of files that are untitled. So you see here where it says untitled jam. The first thing I'm going to do is just title this thing. We'll call this math lesson. Now, there's no save button here on the jam, but as as you write and everything like that, it'll all be saved. So you don't really have to worry about that. So we did number 2, which was create and save a jam. Now let's do write, draw, and erase. Write, draw, and erase. So if you want to write, you see where it says here, this is a marker. I like using the marker the best because of the thickness. You can use a pen. So let me show you the difference here. This is a pen. I think it's a little thin. You can use a marker, okay, a little bit thicker. You can use the highlighter, which is, I think, a little too thick. And the last one is the paintbrush, which is kind of like really thick, but you know what? It's not too bad either, right? So if you want to write like, let's say Rocky or something like that. The paintbrush really ain't bad. So that's how you're gonna write. So for now, I'm gonna stick with the marker, and okay, you can see there's different colors you can choose from. So you got black, orange, whatever, right? But we'll stick with blue. Right underneath is the eraser. Okay, so this is your eraser right here, and if you take a look, you can go right over and erase. Okay. So the eraser is used for like touch-ups and things like that, right? So if you just want to maybe just erase this little bottom piece right here. Okay. This is just the selector. Okay, so if you want to select something here, that's not really a big deal or anything like that. So we kind of did write, draw, and erase. Okay. Next up is to add images. Okay, so you can actually add images onto this Jamboard. So if you take a look here, it says add image. That little, it looks like a little box with like mountains. That always means add images everywhere. So if you want to add an image to the Jamboard, let's click it. And once you click add images, you can add an image from, example, it says from your device. So that means something from your desktop. If I click here, I can add an image from my desktop. So let's take a look. And if I go to my desktop, I'm going to click desktop, and I don't have any images there right now. Go to downloads, and like here's like a profile picture. I selected that, and that's going to be uploaded. And that's my little profile picture right here. Okay. Now I'm going to delete that. I just want to show you some other images. You can do a Google image search. Okay. So you could search for something. Let's say you want to search for, I don't know, we said Rocky Balboa, let's say. And then you could get like an image and upload that real quick. You could also, if you want, as I said earlier, you could go to the drive to get an image. You can search your own Google Drive and things like that. Okay. So like you can add images right to the Jamboard, which is pretty cool. Now, once you add this image, if you take a look here, okay, there's three little dots. You can click on those three little dots and you could duplicate that image, delete that image, and you also see if you select this thing right here, so you can move it around as well. All right, so you could spin it. Wheel. So, all right, this is good too. This is sticky notes, which is like a little positive thing. Because as time goes on, and I'm gonna erase this for now. You can share this Jamboard with other students, and then they're gonna do some work on it. So you could put like a math problem here, and then you'll share this with the students, and they could, write on it and fill in the answer. So if they do some good work here, what you could do is you can add a sticky note. So you can click on this little thing. It's a sticky note, and you could say, "Great job." You can change the color, save, and there you have it, right? So it's like some student does good work, you put it right there, great job. And just like before, you can, edit it. You want to personalize it, great job, Anthony. Something like that. So we did the sticky notes. Now, like I said, sharing options. Let me go over the sharing options. I put a problem here, 3 plus 2, and let's say I want to get that answer and I want a student to answer this. You can put 3 plus 2 and then you could share with the student, and then the student has to, put the answer there. So to share this Jamboard, I'm just going to go to share, like always. And then you have the option to share with, maybe you want to create a group contact list and share it with the group, or you want to share it with an individual student. Let's say student 1. I'm going to select that student, and listen, take a look here at the side. Make sure you make them editor. Okay, so if they're editor, then they can write on the whiteboard and they can erase and make changes. If they're viewers, then they just get to see it. Okay, and then you could notify them via email and leave them a little message. This work, and I have them as an editor, and I'm just going to send. So now student 1 would be able to just put in their answer right here. All right, use the laser to present. Okay, laser's pretty cool. All right, the laser is down here. Okay, here's the laser. And if you hold the laser down, it looks like it's writing, right? It looks like it's writing, but what really happens, it goes away. So the laser is just really, if you're presenting this in a Google Meet and everybody's watching you, maybe you're doing a math lesson and you have like 3 plus 2 and you're like, okay, you start here with the 3 and then you're going to add, and you can use this laser to draw emphasis on something here, and it's going to go away. Okay, background and graphs. So you could change the background, and let's take a look here. So right here, and I'm just going to clear this frame real quick. So the background here is white. Okay, and if you want to change the background to maybe, I don't know, let's say a graph, right? So let's say you're in math, you're doing slopes and things like that. So here's free graph paper. Okay, and graph paper is always tough to come by. I've been a math teacher for a while, and It's you got to go down to the janitor's closet. It's never there. So here you've got some graph paper, and take a look. You can really, you can follow the line down here, creating a pretty good graph right here, I think. You've got your ticks 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe just do something like this. Make a little tick here. You go -5. So this is, having a, this is a graph paper background. Okay, but it's a graph paper that you have to use. They've got other ones here. This is like, I guess, a more visual graph paper. Let's take a look. Okay, kind of some dots here, looking like connected dots. Just lined paper. Okay, and just different colors, and this one's pretty cool. The black background, I think. Okay, if you take a look here. It doesn't get used much, but now it's become kind of like a blackboard. And sometimes I like using the black background. Okay, I'm just going to clear that. But we'll go back to the whiteboard. But if you want to make it a blackboard, just, make it black. All right, so this is good too. Zoom in and zoom out. Okay, let's go back here. So let's say you make this backboard, the background. Let's say you go to this graph paper, and let's say you want to get a little closer. Right now it's on fit 48%, but you can always zoom in. Make it a little more. Zoom in at 100, and now it's much better visually for the graph, right? Because I can go down here and you could really, see the differences. Okay, and you could zoom in some more. You can check how that's going to be, and then, remember, you could drag it and things like that. If you take a look here at the bottom, I can move it like this, and I can do it like this. Maybe you want to do it something like that. I'm going to go to fit 48. This zoom in feature is really important. I'm going to change the background back to whiteboard. And when you're doing a math problem, let's say, you might wind up writing here, and then, you run out of space at the bottom. So if you're going to do a lot of math work, or you need a lot of space on the whiteboard, I suggest you go and you zoom in like 100%, and you start here, and you maybe go like 2x, plus equals 10, 10, let's say. And now if I go back to my normal fit, you'll see I only wrote on the top here. So zooming in can save you a lot of space. Okay, it's one of the important things. Okay, undo and redo. I've been doing that a little bit here. So, and I've been using clear frame. So let's say I write something like 2x, and I go plus, and I go 3, and then I realize, okay, I don't want to do 3. I want to just take off the 3. If you go to undo, it'll take away the 3. Now the undo is going to take away whatever you wrote for as long as your finger was holding down the clicker, the left click. So I've been holding this down the whole time. And now take a look. I'm going to click undo, and the whole thing's gone. So undo is this little back arrow, and a shortcut is Control Z. And you can redo. That means bring it kind of back to life by clicking that. And then, that's your redo. So this is undo, redo. Undo, redo. All right, so clear frames. And this is something I've been using already. Okay. So here's the math, right? So let's say I wrote a bunch of stuff here. I have all this math, and this whole has all work. You can clear this frame right here, and it all, it goes away. The thing with a clear frame though is you're not able to undo everything. So once I press clear frame, I don't get that redo. Okay, so be careful, clearing the frame. So here it says manage frames. So you could create like a new frame. So let's say I have something like this. We'll do 2x. Let's do minus 5. And let's say you did all the work here and you want to do something new. I would say don't press clear frame, because save this work so that the students can use the work. Okay, and they can review it and you can use it. And what you want to do is you don't want to get rid of this. And listen, this goes for all these Google tools. You have tons of space here. You shouldn't be deleting anything. Just save it all. Google's great at search. You'll be able to find it. Instead of just pressing clear frame and losing all this work here, if you want more space to write, you see up here where it says expand the frame bar, you can just really go to create frame. And now I have a brand new frame to write on. And take a look if I go back. here's all the work right here. Okay, so you're not losing anything. So I'm going to go to create new frame, and then you do a new problem. You do 4x equals, 20. And then you solve this one here. Okay, and then you don't erase this, you don't press clear frame, you go to a new frame and you do another problem. Okay, you could call this problem number 3, right? And then you could do the work here. So you can create new frames. If you click on this little thing, expand the frame bar, you can take a look at your frames, you could manage them. So here's frame number 1, here's frame number 2. So if I click this, I can maybe duplicate this frame. All right, so now I have these two, and take a look. What's good is, you can maybe have one student, work on this one, and then you duplicate the frame, and you say, all right, you know what? There's another way to solve this problem. Let's duplicate the frame so you could be, have whatever you have started here. So if I duplicate this frame, maybe I just want to go and do something like an erase, and I just want to, erase the 4, and instead of it being 4x, I could just change it, save yourself some time maybe, and just have x equals 20. So up here is the way you can manage frames. Like I said, you could duplicate them, you could delete them. Let's go to save an image as an image, which I think is really good. So I'm going to go to one of the previous frames. Let's pick this one here. Okay. And you can create your own math problems here, and if you save this as an image, you can upload it to Google Classroom. Okay, and you could save it right to your drive here. So if I want to save this as an image, okay, I'm going to go right here to this more action, and those 3 little dots always mean more, and I'm going to put save frame as an image. And okay, so here it says a math lesson save, it's been downloaded right here. Okay, so again, right, so I saved this as an image, it downloaded, because I have, when I save my image, it downloads to my computer. This is a PNG file. And because I saved it as an image, it also automatically saves to my Google Drive. So here I am on my Google Drive. I'm going to go to recent. Let's take a look at recent, and boom, there it is. Okay, so it's saved right on my drive, and I can, I can share this to a Google Meet. I could well, you don't need. You could share this to Google Classroom. Okay, so we just did save as an image, and download as a PDF, right? So if I want to download it as a PDF, let me go back here. Okay, I saved it as an image, and you see down here it's a PNG. But if I want to download it as a PDF file, again, right, I'm just going to go to these 3 little dots, this more action. I'm going to go to download as a PDF. So I'm going to do that. It will download it to my computer, and then I'll open it up for you, and you could take a look and see what it looks like as a PDF. All right, so here it says math lesson, because that's what it's titled. And here's your PDF. Okay. And notice it downloaded all the frames here, the first frame, the second frame, the third frame, the fourth frame. Okay. And as a PDF, there's a lot of things you could do. You can rotate it, you can print it, things like that. So you can even print this out from here. Okay. All right. So next up says join a live jam. So now here I am in the Google Jam Home, and if I want to join a Jamboard, by somebody else or something like that, if you take a look here at this little open a jam, it looks like a little link. So if I click this here, I can enter a jam code, and once I enter the code, whatever it may be, I'd be able to join that jam based on the code. Okay, so I can join a live Jamboard by entering that code and jumping in right there. So next up it says post jams to apps. Okay, post jams to apps. So if you want to and when I say post jams to apps, I mean post a jam in Google Classroom, post a jam in a, let's say, a Google form. I'll show you some real quick. And I mean, I could just post an image right here by going to add, and then I'll go to, for example, a file, and just like before, so now I'm going to upload for example, so now I'm in my Google Drive, and I see this math lesson right here. So I'm just going to select that, and this time I'm using a file from my Google Drive. So I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to take off that attendance one. Okay, please view. I will post, and then the students can, work right there with the Jamboard. Okay, so this is a way of integrating it with Google Classroom. Okay, now this isn't the same as an image. Okay, this is actually, I'm saving an actual jam, which is a little bit different. All right, so now let's say you want to present a whiteboard in Google Meet. We'll use Google Classroom. So one of the way to get to Google Meet is in Google Classroom. So let's say you want to do a lesson on the alphabet, and you're in your Google Classroom. You can quickly get to the Meet by clicking this thing right here. Okay, so here I am in a Google Meet, and if I want to present that whiteboard in my Google Meet, I can just go right down here to present now. Okay, so I'm going to go to present now, and then I'm going to go to Chrome tab. So present now, then Chrome tab, and I'll select the Jamboard right here. I'll go to share, and now here's the Jamboard. I could open up a lesson, and this part right here is being presented to all the students in the class. So as I select this jam to open up, the students will be able to see it. What's great is I could share this with the students, and we could work on problems together, because I'll share them to Jamboard, so I could like assign them a problem to do, and then they can solve it themselves, kind of. So I mean, here it is, right? This is being shared with all the students, and I would go over the math, I would say, and then 2, I would say, okay, you add the 3 to both sides, divide by 2, etc., and so forth. So that's kind of integrating it with Google Meet. I'm going to close the Google Meet through Jamboard. So let's go to math lessons here. So if you want to search and sort through all different jams, you're going to go to the Jam Home, which you can find right up here. And they do a good job of making it easy to filter. Okay, so if there's right now, this is a grid view. So if you think it's easier to view it like linearly, like in a linear fashion, okay, this is the linear view. And if I want to go back to grid view, I'll click it here. I could toggle between both. This is, I could sort it alphabetically. Okay, so right now you see it's by date, August 20th, August whatever. But I can, sort it by, let's say, last opened by me. I can sort it by the title. Okay, so the title is by date, so F, M, 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 whatever. Or I could, I could sort it by last opened by me, last modified, All right, so now let's say you want to rename, delete, and copy your jams. So this is when I just did my math lesson. If I want to, if I want to rename it, I can just click these 3 little dots right here, and I can go to, rename, and I could call it math lesson, let's say 2. If you look at more options, you could also delete it. I can go to remove. So let's say this one I didn't really use anything, so I can just go to remove, and I can remove this. Jam will be removed. Okay. Now if you want to copy a jam, you actually have to open it up. So I'm going to open this one up, and to copy the jam, I'm going to go to these 3 little pluses here, and I'm just going to go down here to make a copy. So to copy it, you actually have to go inside the jam, which is fine because a lot of times you're working on it as well. So I'm going to go to make a copy, and we'll just call this copy. You can choose a specific folder that you want to put it in. You can go to my drive, and then I don't know, maybe you want to go to math, and then just select here. Okay. And you're making a copy now. And whenever you make a copy, it's going to open up that copy as well, and then you'd be able to, work on it. So, all right, the last thing is Jamboard versus Canvas. Okay, and I've been getting a ton of emails from Canvas lately. All right, so, here we are. It's kind of similar. Okay. Just take a look. You've got the little home button right here, so to take you back to your gallery. You got the color palette. Okay, and then you could take the size of the the writer, so you could see right here. Listen, it's similar to Jamboard. I just happen to like Jamboard because I started with it. I'm not saying this isn't bad. Okay, so you've got your eraser here. It's kind of the same thing, or better. I think there's more to it. If you want to take a look at the home and the gallery, I'll take you back. They're basically the same thing. So if you hear this, you want to create a new drawing, that's like a new jam, new from an image. This is like you could pick an image. So it's really up to you. I just wanted to give you a look and just show you that both of them are the same. Canvas maybe looks a little bit nicer, but the Jamboard's a little more integrated, I think.